Hello. So today we're going to be taking a look at angle relationships. So first and foremost, I kind of want to talk about angle relationships and where it starts. So I have these paper arrows, all right? And a lot of times if I were to say, okay, if I have this angle here, which would be illustrated in this component, is it acute? Is it obtuse? And you guys would all say, oh, it's so cute. So it's an acute angle because it's smaller than 90 degrees. If I rotated this angle, you guys would tell me that, oh, look, it's a right angle. It's 90 degrees. And as I pull then this line further and further to the left, you're now saying it's obtuse. Well, our focus is going to be today when we take this angle and we flatten it completely out and we make a straight angle. All right, and most of us refer to this as a straight line. Now, a lot of times though, when you look at this, you're like, it's a straight line. It's not an angle. Well, in fact, it is. So again, I'm going to demonstrate. You guys said that this was acute, this space here. And as I flatten out this arrow, I'm still measuring this space. I'm still measuring this space. I'm still measuring. I'm still measuring. I'm still measuring. And what happens is the space to get from one spot to the next. So if I measure from here to here, that's where we have our 180 degrees. It is this measurement that we're going to be working today with our angle relationships. All right, so let's take a look at some of these specific things. All right, so first and foremost, as we just illustrated with the paper that is not correct, okay, as we just illustrated, all right, in an angle relationship, any straight line is 180 degrees. Any straight line is 180 degrees. So we need to focus in on that part first. As soon as you see a straight line, you need to know that it is 180 degrees together. Okay? Now, sometimes we have this straight line that we said was 180 degrees, and sometimes there is another piece that cuts into it. Okay, it does not change that the red angle was 180. All it changes is that I have two angles that make that angle. So what we need to then understand is angles that are next to each other, and we call that adjacent. Adjacent is when angles are next to each other. They make a supplementary angle. A supplementary means adds to 180. So in this case, I have my 180 degree line cut into two pieces, 67 and 113. Together, they make 180 degrees because together they make a straight line. So if I started here and I worked my way around, this is 113. I continue 67 more, and together they make that 180 degrees. Okay, so because we know this, we can find the missing angle measurement when we subtract what we know from 180 degrees. Okay, so when I subtract from 180 degrees, that's how I can find that missing component. All right, so here we have two examples. One of them it was just cut once, and one of them it was cut twice. We have a straight line. Now I know he kind of looks a little curvy there, but I'm telling you he's a straight line. And I'm telling you that one of the angles is 71. Okay, so again, the work that we do is because we know that together they make 180 degrees. We're going to take our 180 degrees and we're going to subtract what we know of 71 degrees. Now, if you can't do that math, you can always pick up your calculator. And we would do 180 degrees minus 71. And we would see that that angle has to be 109 degrees. Anything more, we don't have a straight line. Anything less, we don't have a straight line. Okay, so together they have to make that 180. All right, on this other side, we have our straight line and we have it cut into three pieces. Okay, to have it cut into three pieces, all right, you have to know at least two of them. You have to know at least two of them. So again, we know together they all have to make 180 degrees. All right, now there's two ways I can do this. I can have my 180 degrees and I can subtract 81 and then subtract 46. Or I can add 81 and 46 together to start, figure out what that is, and then subtract from 180 to figure that out. And that's the method I like to do. I like to do 81 plus 46. So together, this makes 127. So then I'm going to do 180 minus 127. So that third angle has to be 53 degrees. Okay, so that's when we're dealing with the situation of straight line. Okay, so what ends up happening sometimes, though, with the straight line is they intersect. Okay, and when I have a set of intersecting lines, it creates 4 sets of supplementary pairs. Now you might be like, wait, what? Well, I can look at this and I can say, well, this angle and this angle together make a straight line. I can say, oh, well, that's true. Then this angle and this angle make a straight line. And I can say, okay, well, if that's true, I can say that this angle and this angle make a straight line. And I can also say that this angle and this angle make a straight line. Now, if you notice, in every single corner of each angle, there are 2 different colors. What that means is that each pairing has to use its neighbor, which means the angles across from each other have to be the same value. All right, so if I have my handy dandy colored pencils to prove this, okay, all right, if I color in this corner angle right here, all right, and I say, well, okay, well, he is next to this one, so together they have to be 180 degrees. And I should have picked better conflicting colors for you. Okay. Well, because these are next to each other with the blue and the orange, those are supplementary. So if I look at this next angle pairing, which I already have orange, that means blue needs to be next to it, or aqua, or teal, or whatever color we want to call this one. So then when I look at this next angle pairing this way, that has to be orange because blue has to use orange. And then when I look next to that, you can see that it's every other going all the way around because each angle pairing has to have one of the other paired with it. Therefore, vertical angles have to be the same. Vertical angles have to be the same. All right, so let's practice this skill. There's no math involved. It's literally vertical angles, angles across from each other, have to be the same. So if this angle here is 91, and I'm going to color him blue just to give you the color reference, if he is 91, the question then is, what other angle also has to be 91? So in this case, the angles that are across from each other, in this case, would be right here. This angle would also have to be 91 degrees. Now, if I know that he is 91 degrees, I can then figure out the angle measure of the other 2. Again, doing math only once. So I have my handy dandy calculator. We have 180 minus 91. So in this case, this other angle measure has to be 89. And where there's an 89 on one spot, that means there has to be an 89 in the other spot. All right, so here's another example for you, 156. So go ahead and take a moment if you can fill in the rest of the values. Let's see how you do. Okay, continue to pause if you need to, but in this case, we know that the angle across from it also has to be 156. And if I take 180 minus 156, that angle measure that's small has to be 24. All right, so there's our concept of straight angles and intersecting lines that create angles.